What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode, and today we're going to be talking about sharpshooting in Northern Illinois and CWD control as best that the IDNR can put it. So stick around, because the truth on this one gets kind of hairy and you're going to want to hear it. I'll give you a minute to go down below, like, and subscribe. If you find this information awesome, share it. Give me a minute to do that, and we'll roll the intro. Alright guys, so to start this off, we need to go back to 2012 when the CWD junk started in Illinois. I believe it started in Winnebago County, and right on the edge of Winnebago and Boone County. That's kind of where the epicenter, the hot spot is right now. And it started off as just a few deer. Nobody was none the wiser, not a big deal. And then it started to spread south from there, and a lot of people were super concerned about it. They said, we need to do something. How is it spread? It's spread through saliva, deer feeding in the same area. They made the connection of large deer herds, mass spread, get rid of deer herds, get rid of the virus. That was their idea. So what they instituted was a sharpshooting protocol. Basically, they said, okay, here we have these counties. They have population of X amount of deer. We see an infection rate of whatever, which is 1% of the deer population in Illinois. And they said, we're going to go out, we're going to take X amount of deer to keep that number in check. They don't give us any of that information. They don't give us the percentage required. They don't give us the percentage of deer they want to take. They don't give us the numbers on what it takes for them to show up. None of that. It's just hidden, I guess. We're not good enough to know. So basically what we're looking at is 17 counties. And between those 17 counties, we have 83 sites. So those counties are going to be Boone, Carroll, Grundy, Joel Davis, Kane, Kankakee, Candell, Lake, LaSalle, Livingston, McHenry, Ogle, Stevenson, Will, and Winnebago. So between those counties, like I said, there are 83 sites at which they take the deer. They don't give any specifics on that either. Surprise, surprise. But what I was able to find out is that during the 2018 deer season, there were 6,987 deer taken from hunters. That's hunters shot the deer, and then they gave them to the DNR for testing that were tested. The IDNR themselves went out and killed 997 deer. So basically the department went out and killed 1,000 deer in Illinois. And what was kind of crazy to me is they actually pay other companies to go out and shoot deer. They shot 572. So if you look at the sharpshooting in Illinois, there were 1,569 deer killed in Illinois via sharpshooting for the purpose of CWD. I don't count that other 6,900 and some change, because those were deer that were going to be taken anyway during our standard season, so there's really no reason to include them. But if we look at just that 572 deer that were killed, the state's paying out about $250 a deer to these agencies to come out and take these animals. So you just do the math real quick, and you're looking at $143,000 paid to these agencies to come in and kill these deer, however be it they're doing it. That's a lot. They wouldn't make very much off of those tags, but if they were to re-allot those as extra shotgun tags or something like that, not pay that $143,000, they would in return get $150,000 in revenue. So that's a pretty big change. So we ask, why don't they? Why don't they allow hunters to go and take these deer? Why don't they just give out the extra 2,000 tags? Well, they do. Basically, there's a quota of deer they want taken out of these CWD areas, and the hunters, basically, we get a whole extra gun season at the end of the year to take antlerless deer. So a lot of bucks have dropped, their antlers. Does can be taken, obviously. And then they look at that and they say, well, of our quota, we still need to shoot 2,000 more deer. And then they go out and they shoot those deer in these counties. As far as areas that don't allow hunting and then these deer are being taken, I don't know what to say, because I've looked into it, I've sent emails, I've made phone calls, and nobody wants to give any answer other than these areas don't allow for hunting, so therefore we cannot allow people to come in and hunt them. In all of these CWD counties, permits were raised as far as shotgun allotments. Late season CWD has been put in. So we as hunters have full access to the number of deer that they want to take. It's just a matter of they're not being taken. One really scary thing to look at, though, is that deer are being killed in these CWD sharpshootings at a 3-to-1 ratio of 3 does per 1 buck. And if we look at that, that's about 1,046 does that are being shot. If half of them are pregnant, that's taken out 2,100 deer out of next year's breeding stock or available deer to hunt. If you look at over about 4 years, you replicate that every year, that's about 15,000 deer that are no longer walking on Illinois land. So just stop and think about that for a minute. In the course of this that's been going, we've probably lost about 35 to 40,000 deer in the northern half of Illinois due to the CWD shooting. And per their own records, only about 1% of the population of Illinois' white-tailed deer actually have CWD. And even less than them actually have any signs that affect their health or give them any issues. Bright side, about 90-95% of the deer taken are able to be given and donated to homeless shelters and stuff like that. Hunters for the Hungry. So that is kind of a good, I guess. I don't know. That's up to you to decide. What I would like to bring up is that a lot of this, people who are in favor of the CWD seasons and that, whether it be I like to hunt later or we really got to worry about CWD, I'm not here to tell you either way. I'm just here to give you my opinions. Or not give you my opinion. I'm here to give you what information I found. We should really look at Colorado, because if we're worried about hitting 10, 15, 20% CWD infection in Illinois and it's just going to decimate the herd, we should really bring attention to a lot of the units in Colorado that are 45% and higher in their elk and in their mule deer populations, but they still have hunting because those populations are still growing, so they're still a huntable population. So there's this idea of genetic immunity, herd immunity, if you will, that at a certain point, the deer that are susceptible to this prion will die off, their genetics will not pass on. The deer that are resilient against it, their genetics will pass on, and then you have a herd that's pretty much immune to these prions. That seems to be what's going on if you look at Colorado. If you take a look at something like Wisconsin, where they went to the extreme opposite, they actually had small sections where they wanted to destroy all whitetail. They said, we're going to kill all the deer out of these areas and then restart the population. You can't really do that with whitetail. They're really resilient animals, and what they found out after a 3-year process is that there were more whitetail in the area with a higher rate of CWD than when they started, due to the way that they were baiting, and the people that were coming in to take the deer weren't the best shots. So you actually had an increase in deer population and an increase in CWD spread. So overall, I mean, the numbers don't lie, and I would say in northern Illinois, you guys are really getting hit hard with this CWD stuff. and it's not the CWD that's killing the deer. It's the DNR. I'm not saying anything negative against the DNR. I'm sure that a lot of them have, the right ideas in mind, but Illinois' deer population as a whole is growing every year, but it's not growing in the north. So the southern half is seeing a massive increase in deer population, and the northern half is not. And like I said, you're looking at 35,000, 40,000 deer that are not walking in your guys' hunting areas now because of the CWD sharpshooting. The only way to stop this kind of stuff is going to be to get a hold of your local reps, get a hold of your local biologists, talk to them, explain your concerns, and maybe get a better feel on what they're doing and why. But it's definitely an issue in Illinois, and I don't see it going away unless we as hunters step up and do something. So I hope this clears it up, either lights a fire under you or put your fire out, whatever may have you. But till next time, I'm Nomad. Thanks for joining us on the hunt.